tuned in today and welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. My name is Dr. Linzi and I am a naturopathic doctor right here in Iron River, and I specialize in helping people restore their health and revitalize their life. Always a little disclaimer, anything discussed is for the purpose of general health support, not intended to treat or cure disease, but to support overall physiology and optimize overall health. So always be sure to consult with your own primary care health provider before making any health changes, especially because we're going to talk about some specifics today. And these are all just suggestions or things that you can look into a little more, but you always want to check in to make sure anything that you want to do is right for you and your body. And so last episode, we talked about my lovely pink jumpsuit transformation and how it represented something so much bigger for me. And it represented the version of myself that I knew was still there, the confidence, the feeling strong, the energized, the comfortable in my own skin. So definitely check that out if you're needing a little inspiration. You can check that out at Dr.Linzi ND on Instagram there. Or no, not Instagram. Well, I'm there too. On YouTube. And that's where I have it. That's where I have it recorded. So check that out. And then today I want to talk about something that is on a lot of people's minds right now. Ticks. And I'll be honest, what I'm seeing reminds me a lot of what I'm seeing a little bit more lately is reminds me a lot of the like that fear around, like we remember around COVID time where everyone just is so fearful and nobody wants to go outside of their homes or things like that. Some people are so fearful of ticks and Lyme disease because it is scary. But that's also like not a way to live. We need to take this opportunity during these beautiful months to get out in nature and to get outside. So I want to help empower you today, not with just some random internet information that is going around out there, but empower you so that we can help with this fear and bring some clarity. And so that's really my goal today, to help you feel informed, prepared, and empowered. So you're not scared to go outside and enjoy life in nature, because you guys, the truth is nature is not something to fear. Nature is medicine. It regulates your nervous system. It supports your immune system. It literally creates health in the body. And so the more we can understand, then the less you can maybe fear and worry. So I want to help with that. So the first thing we're going to talk about is prevention. So let's start with that, because that's super important. So one of the first things you can do is barrier support. So you can use, and I was just telling Jim about this for another skin thing, but you can use tallow. Like, so if you know you're going to be in the woods, or you're going out, or you're somewhere where there's lots of ticks, you're going to hydrate your skin, but you can put on that tallow and that'll be a natural barrier. So it's going to be nourishing and protective, but a barrier for those ticks. And then you can use a natural tick spray. I have a great blend for you guys. So you can do a half a cup of witch hazel, a half a cup of distilled or boiled water, and you want to put this in a nice glass container that you can pick up. And then 50 to 70 drops of a combination of the following: rosemary, cedarwood, citronella, lemongrass, peppermint, lavender, and the most important one, that if you only had one, this would be the most important essential oil to put in your natural tick spray, and that would be lemon eucalyptus. Not lemon, not just eucalyptus, specifically the essential oil lemon eucalyptus. It's together. The ticks hate that. So if you have the ability to combine a bunch of, great, rosemary, cedarwood, citronella, lemongrass, peppermint, lavender, but most important is that lemon eucalyptus. And if you are out and about and you apply this every couple hours, you can put that directly on your skin. You can put it on your clothes. You can, wherever you need to. That is going to keep the ticks from like even coming near you. Or if you happen to brush across something and one comes on you, they're going to likely just fall off because they do not want to be near that. A little more intense option is permethrin. Now that's technically toxic when it's in liquid form, but once it dries, it's not toxic. So you definitely don't want to spray that on your skin, but you can spray it on your shoes and on your clothes. And definitely not pets. Do not, because it's dangerous when it's wet. So that's something that you would spray on a bandana. And then when it dries, you could wrap the bandana around your pet. Like I've ordered permethrin bandanas. So when we're going out in the woods or a walk, I wrap that around my pet's neck or around my pants, or we'll spray our shoes or our jeans. But then you don't want to touch it or go near it until it's dried. Also, you can wear light socks, light clothing. You can be dorky and tuck your pants into your socks. Super cute, but effective. Um, and that's really helpful. And then this is a simple habit that you can do is that when you come inside, or you can have a lint roller on you all the time. This works amazing for dogs and humans. You literally use a lint roller, put it all over your pup, because my sweet pup, she is black, and so I'm not going to see anything. Even if I do a good inspection, I can feel, I can look, but it's going to be really hard to see. So then I can take that lint roller, and I'll of course get hair and stuff, but it'll pick up even the smallest ticks. You get all behind the ears, under the chest, on the pup, but also on yourself, on your clothes, and even on your skin. You can do it, and that will be really effective at picking things up. You can also shower within a couple hours of coming inside. Of course, check your body. But if you've seen some of the pictures and videos of how small these ticks can be, your eyes can often miss them. That's why it's good to often shower or use the lint roller. You can also throw your clothes in the dryer when you get home, like right away, because my brother works in the woods, and so he will just get home, take everything off like in the garage, and then it goes right in the dryer on high cycle, just to make sure. And many times they have found ticks. So those are your prevention steps, right? And then also what's interesting preventative wise, to focus on your terrain. So you guys have heard like the germ theory, the germ theory versus terrain theory. Now we have to be aware, because yes, ticks can carry, things that are scary like Lyme's disease and all sorts of crazy infections. But we need to be aware of the bug, the microbe, but we need to support our terrain. And this is what most people aren't talking about. So your terrain, what I mean by that is your internal environment. When your body is strong, it responds better. And honestly, there are many people who get bit and that tick has Lyme because they've done a test, and that person doesn't develop, they've done a test on the tick and that tick was carrying Lyme and they bit them, and it was, on there long enough to likely transmit it, and that person developed no issues of symptoms of Lyme. So what is that about? Why could one person be completely debilitated and one person just be fine? A lot of it comes down to the terrain of the body. And so I'll go into a little more detail in that in a minute, but some things that you can do to help strengthen your terrain during like tick season is one, astragalus is a wonderful herb that is very immune supportive. So it can kind of boost you up, that you can kind of take preventatively. Now, you guys know me, I don't want to just have you take random stuff all the times forever, but sometimes preventatively you can take a smaller dose just throughout the season, just to keep your body strong. And then of course, when we go into the part of if you do get bit, you would likely up your dose, but you could take a smaller dose kind of preventatively. Also, a big one that a lot of people don't know about is sulfur. So when you support natural sulfur levels, you will the ticks hate it. It comes out of your skin and they hate the smell. They don't want to come near you when that's adequate. And this is really important, you guys, because we used to get a lot more sulfur naturally in our food and water. And due to modern farming practices, and people are just now really deficient in it. So that supplementation can help. And you can also give powdered, sulfur to your dogs safely, and to humans. And I'm not going to talk about specific dosing, you guys, just because it's really individual, and I feel like that would be irresponsible of me, because you got to check in with who's helping you on your health journey, or make the decision yourself based off what the bottle says, because everybody is so unique, and what one dose is for one person might not be what's right for another. And I can give you the things that you can help look into and maybe research and decide on, or talk to your practitioner about. But when you're taking something internally, a lot of times it's important to make sure it's right for you and your body. You know what I mean? So one thing, if you don't feel comfortable or have somebody to check in with of how much sulfur to take or what the dose should be, you could encourage sulfur-rich foods in your diet. And you could regularly include things like garlic, onions, leek, shallots, eggs, grass-fed meats, bone broth, those lovely cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, cabbage. And these foods really help naturally support sulfur in your body. And that also supports detox pathways, immune function, and even your skin's natural defenses. It's really great for the joints and everything too, so that's wonderful. Another thing you can do is if you like tea, you can kind of, throughout the tick season, sip on Assistus tea. That's Cistus. It's amazing for microbial balance and amazing for tick prevention. And then don't forget your environment. If you like planting things and you have animals, like you could even plant in your yard everywhere, lavender, mint, rosemary, marigold, catnip, all of those, if you choose to plant those, usually the deer don't eat too many of those as well, but the ticks don't like them. So if around your barrier, around your house, you kind of plant some of those key things, the ticks aren't going to come into your space or your animal space or your dog space, which can be really, really helpful. And then I want to talk a little bit more about terrain versus fear. So this matters, you guys, because we are being conditioned to fear everything, especially the things that benefit us most, like going outside and being grounded in nature. That is so important for kids, so important for us, but we have to remember our body was not designed to be fragile. It was designed to adapt, to respond, to protect. And I want to tell you about this one study that I read of individuals diagnosed with Lyme's disease, and the findings were very telling. They found that 71.4% of those who were experiencing the symptoms of Lyme's disease also had mold exposure. 69% had elevated inflammation, and 85% had toxic metal overload. So what does that tell us? What does that tell us? That tells us that it's not just about the bug. Does the bug matter? Absolutely. But it's also about the terrain. So when somebody develops that chronic Lyme and it sets in, it's rarely just one thing. It's often a combination of toxins, stress, immune balance, nervous system dysregulation. So yes, we can prevent and we can take the proper measures when we go out in nature, when we're exposed, if we are bit, but we also have to focus on building a strong body that can handle exposures to different things. Does that make sense, Jim?
Oh, totally. I love the fact you're talking about the environment because everybody knows I got chickens, I got guineas and stuff.
Oh, yes.
The net, and of course now I don't put any pesticides out because we consume the eggs.
Absolutely.
And we don't want to poison ourselves. But you also mentioned something now. I have an allergy to sulfa. And what I was doing, what I did is I did a quick little just Google search. Yeah. Sulfa versus sulfur. Mm-hmm. Now, sulfa is a synthetic drug.
Yep.
It can cause drug-specific allergy reactions, which I get. But I was looking at sulfur itself, a biological nutrient, not allergic, naturally found in the environment and foods. Yes. That made me feel better because yes. I think I'm going to put myself out there and say, I, like many others, when we hear the word sulfa, I think we automatically start thinking sulfur.
Oh, yeah.
And there is a very big difference between them. So yes. I love the fact that you're bringing this, up to everybody.
Well, and that's also why it's so important to be able to check in with people because, so even though it's not likely, I'm glad you pointed that out, to cause a sulfur sulfur reaction, like if you were allergic to it, because I am too. I'm allergic to sulfa drugs too. But so when you support, so if you up your sulfur rich foods or you take a supplement,
right.
So it helps your body detox. Well, this is why individuality matters so much and why it's important to check in. If somebody is really toxic or they've had a depleted system for a long time and they're just like, oh my gosh, I heard I need to prevent ticks. I need to take a bunch of sulfur. And they just start taking a bunch of sulfur. You could have a massive detox reaction because you're supporting the detox, which is technically good, but you could overdo it. Yeah, so this is why it's really important to check in and have a game plan.
Get somebody on your team. I got somebody on my team.
Yes.
Here's another thing too, Dr. Linzi. You're talking about the checking for ticks. Mm-hmm. I think Brad Paisley
has a song.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Jake jokes all the time. Oh, it's time to check for ticks, and he's being sassy.
Yeah, there you go. That's the joys of relationships.
Right? Oh yeah, yeah. He loves tick checking season. There you go. Yes, absolutely. And what you said about the chickens and having those in there, I didn't put it in there because I figured most people aren't just going to be able to go out and buy a bunch of chickens. But if you are, that is a great way to prevent ticks because they eat hundreds and hundreds a day, and you literally won't have any in your yard if you have chickens, which is amazing.
And they're fun to watch.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you get they're fun to watch. They're friendly. You get food. It's great. So I wanted to also talk about tick removal here, you guys, because a lot of people do this wrong, and this is really important. Because did you know that when the transmission most often happens when it has to be like in you for about 24 to 48 hours. So if you just find one and you pull it out and it hasn't been like actually attached for 24 to 48 hours, the likelihood of it transmitting anything is very low. But then your removal helps determine this, because if you go in there and you put Vaseline on it, or you put alcohol on it, or you put an essential oil on it because you're thinking it's going to back out, no, because that freaks the tick out, and the tick usually regurgitates or vomits. And when that action happens, that's when it spreads the infection. So you want to try to do it as gently and as without disrupting the tick as much as possible. So what you want to do is you want to get yourself a tick twister tool. You can get these on Amazon. I'll show you the ones that I have. You can also get ones that are like look like a credit card, and you can keep them in your wallet. So you always have one on you. They make ones that attach to your keychain, but look they're right here. And I always have this in my tick kit. I have a little tick kit, and they have all different size ones, but you'll see how it has a little, that little cut in there. So what it does is you go into where the tick is, and like on the skin. And so let's say the tick is right here. You come like right like this, and you get it, and then you just gently twist, and it pops right out. You get the full head. The head's not getting stuck. You didn't agitate the tick. You didn't freak out, and you just gently remove, and it comes out every time.
That's better than using a claw hammer.
Better than the tweezers, because sometimes when you grab those tweezers and they're really sharp, they pinch off the head.
Yeah.
And now you have the head stuck in there, and you got a whole problem. So you want to get yourself the tick twister, and you want to use that so that you can gently twist and the head pops right out. And then you can put your clean the area with alcohol or essential oils. And then I have what to do as well with a poultice. We do this every time, and this helps too. So that's the proper. So you don't want to use Vaseline, no alcohol. You don't want to freak the tick out. You want to use a tick twister and gently remove it that way. So now you remove the tick, so you were bitten. Now calm down, don't panic, and don't just throw a bunch of random things together from the internet. Stay calm. You're going to draw a drawing poultice. This is a very powerful tool. You can use this for tick bites, burns, stings, infections, anything. You're going to mix bentonite clay and activated charcoal. Just straight up, you can get activated charcoal in the capsules. Super easy, you can get those anywhere. You're gonna mix that, and you're gonna put, if you only have that, that's fine. That's still gonna do a great job. If you also have the herb andrographis, which you can get that in tincture form, you're going to mix a little bentonite clay, mix some activated charcoal, mix a little bit of andrographis tincture, and you're going to create a thick paste, okay? Then you're going to apply about 2 inches, nice and thick, over the bite, and then a piece of gauze, and you can just tape it, and you're going to leave that on until it dries out, completely dries out. That whole time that poultice is drying, it's going to pull out whatever that tick had in it. Very effective. Very, very effective. And you're going to want to do this a couple times a day for a couple days to just really do a good job pulling that out. So you're going to do a drawing poultice. Then you can use herbal support. So the 2 best for a tick bite are andrographis and like astragalus, like we already talked about taking preventatively. But andrographis is specifically, very specific anti-Borrelia, which is what causes Lyme. So you want to take andrographis, astragalus, and if needed, you can take wild oregano. That can be as strong as an antibiotic. Okay. Then you want to have on board homeopathic ledum, LEDUM. That is used for puncture wounds. That is helpful to have on hand as well. And then oftentimes with patients, I'll do foundational nutrients, like we'll do short-term high-dose vitamin D, high-dose vitamin A, and vitamin C to get the immune system supported. But again, you want to check in with your doctor. And then of course, if there is the medical option, if you really, feel concerned, you could do something like doxycycline. You have to talk with your medical provider about that. And you usually want to do 21 days, a good 7 or 14-day stint is not enough. If you really feel that is the route you want to take, you want to do a good 21-day of doxycycline if you go the antibiotic route. But this is, you guys, where individualized care matters, right? And I want to draw out something really important about the bullseye rash. Okay. This really clears up misconceptions. So people think if they didn't get the bullseye rash that they're fine, but that's actually not true. The classic bullseye rash is associated with Lyme's disease. And so if you do get the rash, you've definitely been infected. But that only occurs in about 30 to 50% of the people who actually get Lyme. Only 30 to 50% actually develop the rash. So this means that the rash does not equal no infection. So you cannot rely on the rash alone. This is why we have to focus on proper removal, early support, watching symptoms, and strengthening that terrain, not just watching for the rash. So the goal is not to panic. The goal is to be informed enough so that you can act and do what you need to confidently. So what I want you guys to take away is, yes, ticks exist. Yes, we should be aware and prepared, but we do not need to live in fear. Nature heals, nature regulates, nature is medicine. And so I want you to know that, just let me know if you need more information. You can find me on Facebook at Linzi-Say Larson, and that's SAIGH LARSEN. You're more than welcome to message me. I might put all of this in a helpful handout for people so they have a nice reference, but you can always reach out that. I encourage you guys to go outside, enjoy your life, and be wise, but not worried. Right, Jim?
Oh, amen to that. And I just want everybody to know, on Dr. Linzi's page there, I put a little link on there that you can check to see what kind of tick you have by sending an email with a photo to a particular Michigan government agency, and they do that for free.
I forgot. Also, ticktester.com.
There you
go. So ticktester.com, I almost forgot. Thanks, Jim. That is where I send my ticks. I've sent over probably 7 ticks now. And you can choose what level you want, and they get back to you fast. They get back to you within 3 to 5 days. So a lot of people will do that before they take an antibiotic. They'll send the tick in, and it gives them a full report of what the tick was infected with and how long it was engorged.
Dr. Linzi, you better tell people how to find you.
Oh, yes. So you can call or text the office, 906-829-0500. You can email info@drlinzi.com. That's info@drlinzi.com. I suggest finding me on Facebook. That's LINZI, Linzi, Say Larson, SAIGH Larson, LARSEN, because then you can see what I post about, give away the information, and you can get all that good info that way.
And you can find out what kind of pork chop she had.
I did post about pork. You got to reach out to Kurt Lehman at Black Wolf Farms if you need the best pork around.
Dr. Linzi, great talking to you.